Here's some fireworks tonight. YouTube.com/webcam. That sounds weird.
Hey, Tom, you playing Final Fantasy 14?
Okay.
No, I'm not ready yet. I gotta get prepared.
That sounds weird.
Hey, Tom, you playing Final Fantasy 14?
Okay. Sorry about that. Here we are. I think we're good. God, I keep on losing my screens here. Okay, we're good. What's happening, guys? Woo! Move over the microphone. Yes, happy 4th of July Eve. That's right, Independence Day Eve. To all the all the American friends, but all you out of countryers, well, hopefully you don't have to work tomorrow, but hopefully it's like daytime over where you're at. So cheers, guys. What's going on? Welcome to the Vodka stream. And don't think I'm not going to do one on Friday. I still plan on doing another one Friday. I just figured, it'll work tomorrow. It's 4th of July. Why not ring in the 4th of July with some vodka? All right. Cheers, guys. Thank you, Jonathan. Yep. It's a new added shirt. I couldn't pass it up. I was walking. I think I was at JCPenney or something like that. Maybe Macy's. I think it might have been Macy's. I don't know. But I was just walking around and I saw this shirt and I'm like, yep, gotta have it. Why not? Represent. I mean, hopefully you guys are watching Cobra Kai, or you watched Cobra Kai season 1 and 2. There's no reason why that show should be that good. I did not think it was going to be that good, but my God. Between you cucking to the MCU Disney and 90 circle jerks about the Snyder Cut, who needs Pornhub? Cucking to the MCU and Disney. I love that. Cucking. I hate that word. Cuck. You fucking cuck. How did I cuck? Because I still enjoyed Spider-Man Far From Home, even though I had big time gripes about it, and I almost telling you. Zendaya was pretty cringe. I can't get around it. I can't get around her and that relationship. She was so unlikable in Homecoming, and then in Far From Home, she's unlikable and awkward with her little that's what are you doing there, Peter? Yeah, Peter. She does a weird thing with her mouth, and I'm like, that's not how you normally talk. Why are you doing that now? God, they're gonna be fireworks all night. But yeah, Zendaya, I don't see the appeal. I don't even when guys are like thirsting over her, I'm like, she looks like she's fucking 13. And she's like this big. I'm not into like super skinny girls. I'm not. It's just, I just can't do it. Hoskins is a troll. Nah, he's just funny. He likes to fuck with me. He wants to see Amanda, which she's not gonna be here. Don't get too excited. I should have probably texted her. Oh, well, she'll probably show up in the chat on Friday. I didn't even text her. Well, maybe I could text her now and see. I doubt she's even awake, though. She probably has her kid. Stop. My God. But anyways, Zendaya was pretty cringe. 100% agree. Yeah, it's just, I can't. I was worried about that. I was like, please let it be better. No, it's not better. But what did it is I like Tom Holland. Jake Gyllenhaal was great. Most of it was good enough. Well, it's just, there were some action sequences that were pretty damn cool. And then, of course, that mid-credit scene was pretty fucking awesome. But let's not do any spoilers here, guys. But yeah, I just don't understand the fascination with Zendaya. I honestly enjoyed it more than Homecoming. But yeah, she's pretty hard. Yeah, the awkward thing. It's like, I thought MJ was supposed to be kind of a little bit tough. It's like, yeah, you could have a little awkwardness, but it's just too much, man. I don't know. Yep, back to Pornhub hub there, Mr. Hoskins. Sorry. Turning MJ into a hardcore cringy woke SJW. It's pretty expected. Yeah, it's just not. I don't get it. And then because like the whole time I'm going like, why does Peter like this girl? What is so appealing about her? I'm sitting there going, okay, put yourself in Peter's shoes. Why does he like this girl? What's so appealing about her? And fucking A, I could see why he liked, Kirsten Dunst MJ from that one. And a lot of the books, you kind of go, yeah, MJ, fuck yeah. But, man, this whole new MJ, no thanks. Antifa, Mary Jane. Jeez. Oh, those guys. Antifa, man. They're fighting fascists. They're fighting fascism with literal fascism. It's crazy. What's up, Stallone? Hey, what's up, Shadow Vessel? How you doing, man? She's a stereotypical SJW emotionless block of wood. Yeah. I mean, for the haters to fucking say that about Gal Gadot, my God. I'm like, Zendaya is way more wooden. Good Jesus. Yeah, it's just, I can't, it almost ruined the movie for me. It almost ruined the movie, but luckily I was digging the Gyllenhaal stuff and just Tom Holland in general. And like I said, just like that final act really just had some good sequences. And then, like I said, the mid-credit was, did it for me. Tris Witcher now. Oh yeah, they cast Ariel for the live-action Little Mermaid movie. I don't care. I mean, I'm kind of glad that they chose somebody that can actually who's actually a singer. So that means it's going to be full-on musical-like. Fine. I don't know. I'm not going to rush to go see it. I still haven't seen Cinderella or Beauty and the Beast. When it comes to Disney movies, I mean, those ones didn't appeal to me. I don't know. Just never did, and I just never caught the live-action versions. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised that Aladdin was better than expected, but still wasn't good enough. Oh, boy. Hey, bro, you missed... Who? Shanny Street as Mr. Shanny's stream? Who's as Mr. Shanny? Yes, Mr. Garza is in here. I think Colbert was in here too. So you're gonna give me shit about Spider-Man. You're gonna be like Cinderella 2015 was dope. Is anybody coming on the show today? Maybe, but fucking A, you know how the audio just doesn't like to work at all. What do I predict about MCU Phase 4? I don't know. After watching Spider-Man Far From Home, I don't know. Because it really didn't, I don't know. I expect more scrolls, maybe. Yes, Colbert is in here. Hey, Michaela, what's going on, man? I'm curious if they are planning to steal Sinister Six. They should, for fuck's sake. They really, I'm not going to talk about that much. Because, hey, the comic movie marks guys are here. I don't know if it's both of them or just one, but yeah, the blip. Is that what they called it? That's right. That's what they called the snap, the blip. That's what they named the snap, which makes sense. They wouldn't know exactly what happened unless I guess they told them that. Oh, yeah, this fucking alien dude from another planet he snapped. Mr. Wong Swenson, what's going on? Got Mr. Wong in the house. Mr. Wong Swenson. Cheers, buddy. Happy 4th of July. Shouldn't Edith have scanned Beck? Yeah, you can start poking holes and stuff like that. Then again, didn't he design it? I don't know. All right, here we go. Yes, there'll be people on the show, but or one person at least. But the stupid and it's not me, guys. When it comes to the audio and not being able to hear people, it's not me. Apparently, it's a thing that's been happening with these live broadcasts. And then hopefully, when they revert to YouTube/webcam, it'll be better. Peter Tingle, my skin wanted to melt. Yeah, that was that. Watch Amazing Spider-Man. Watch some. Chris is here. Who's Chris? Chris? Oh, yeah. Chris Wong Swenson. Duh. But of course. Wes Ashley? Don't talk about that guy. Come on. Oh, guess what, Garza? I can't hear you. Oh, there it is.
Really?
Oh, look at that. See what happens?
See what happens when it's just two of us and you don't have another third fucking wheel?
Just the two of us.
God.
Sorry, Corbett. If you want to come in, you're probably going to be the one censored this time.
Yeah. Maybe the one just looking like an idiot.
Exactly. It's okay. We enjoyed your pretty face. What's up, Garza? Cheers.
Hey, cheers. Yeah.
Are you drinking that rye? That bourbon?
Yeah, man, it's good, dude.
Yeah, I know. I should probably get that for like Friday.
Oh, should I turn the lights down in the back?
Oh yeah, you got like a fucking sun right behind you. People want to see it.
It's funny. I twisted it almost all the way down to where it wouldn't be blinded, but
yeah, you're still washing you out a little bit though.
Watch. All right.
Aunt May is one fine looking lady. Yes, she is. Marissa Tomei. That woman doesn't age. Blinded by the light. At least we know that Garza's wearing pants.
Why wouldn't I?
Hey, you never know. Some people are weird. Don't be the third leg. I mean, who knows?
I could always do this if you wanted me to.
What?
Just block it with my head.
Block? Yeah. What is that? What is that light? Is that when you're putting on your makeup in the morning, or what's going on?
Yeah, kind of actually.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
No, that's fine.
Should I not have a makeup light?
No, it's good. Hey, you got it. Hey, it's always good to have some kind of light like that can accent all your pores and stuff like that.
Absolutely, man. It's the only way I look.
Exactly.
Anyways, I was listening to you talk about the aerial casting. I don't know shit about the aerial casting, but
I don't know who that is either. I know she's a singer, and I'm just like, cool. Get somebody that can fucking actually sing. That's fine. You know.
Yeah, for me, I don't really give a fuck. I'm just.
I don't either.
All I care about. Well, I noticed that you hadn't seen Cinderella.
I haven't. I know, and you were like promoting it right there in the live chat.
Dude, I'm fucking telling you that film.
I know. That's what I heard too.
Dude, it is all about being. It's a gritty take for it being a Disney film.
Yeah. Okay.
So
I'll have to check it out. I've been meaning to because I remember when it came out and it was like everybody was going, "Oh my god, this is actually really, really good." And blah blah blah. I haven't even seen Beauty of the Beast either.
Oh, neither have I. I haven't seen.
Yeah, I wasn't. It's just sometimes I hadn't seen Pete's Dragon either. Just sometimes I just don't. Disney movies growing up didn't appeal to me that much. It really didn't. Like we had the collection and those big ass fucking VHS boxes that they had that stuck out like higher than all the rest of your VHSs that you had in the shelf. Those big books or whatever. Yeah. And we had a bunch, but I never really watched them that much. I just never was into them. So I don't know. But yeah, Aladdin was surprisingly better than I thought it was going to be because I thought that was going to be a shit sandwich, but I was like, it was fine. Will Smith, cool.
Hey, you wouldn't like Aladdin.
How dare you? I didn't even like, but I didn't put it on my favorite wall though. I was like, nah, it's not a movie I'm gonna fucking care to even see again, really. If it's on, maybe, but yeah, it's like it wasn't anything like. And I know they're gonna do a sequel, obviously, since the movie's making like $800 million plus, but whatever. Return of Jafar, they'll probably do, which I thought Jafar was horrible in that movie. You don't know what you're doing there. I mean, he's such a high-pitched voice. I'm like, you're supposed to be the villain, dude. You have a menacing-looking face, but your voice,
like hilarious,
dude. I mean, it's like a David Beckham thing. It's like you expect a voice coming out, and it's just, just high pitch. Crazy,
good, man. Hey, real quick, hold on. I gotta go let my dog in.
Hey, he's doing the reverse of the song. He's letting the dogs in, not out.
Yeah, I didn't even realize I was doing that, man.
Yeah. Hold on. Who let the dogs in? Garza. Beauty and the Beast? What? For me, I couldn't care less except that it's a pattern of how Hollywood treats redheaded. Yeah. Now, the poor gingers are not getting roles now. They aren't. It seems like all the redheads are just like, nope, fuck the gingers. And they can say that too because, it's the way it is. Oh, it's Steven... Steven, say something.
Can you hear me?
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's working, guys. I can hear both of them.
So it was just Garza the whole time.
It was Garza's fault.
How is it my fault? I mean, I'm here.
I don't know. All I'm saying is I have always clicked in without issue. You guys are clicking the button wrong. That's all.
Oh man, look at that. No mess ups today. We got the Trinity, the Holy Trinity going on. Cheers, Mr. Steven. What are you drinking?
Right.
Man, I'm the fucking pussy with the vodka, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Hey,
well, at least I'm
I
drinking.
mean, if anybody follows you on Twitter, they should know that you are a bitch. So
I know. Totally a bitch. Jeez.
hey, can I ask you guys something?
No, but okay. Just kidding.
So how was it for you guys to wake up, or maybe wake up, I don't know, and see Dark Side?
I was already up, but that was pretty
You
awesome.
know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was already like, I think I just got to work. That's why I was like, oh shit.
Well, it's been exciting just because that's been the question all along, right? So we've known for like a little over a year now. Well, the first thing we saw was the storyboard, right, from the Nightmare, and that was the storyboard of Dark Side. But we knew
put that out.
Huh?
Who put that? How did that even get out?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time. So, and then but so then Zach was like, "What?" He said, "I shoot what I draw." He said that way later on, but you know, we figured that was the question at the time. Though, was did this end up in the movie? And then eventually he posted that the picture, which we had known at the time, then was of the mural of Darkseid. And then so it was always what actually exists of Darkseid in the movie. So we had a shot from the movie that was a picture of him, and we had a shot up from him from a storyboard. And then he posted the history lesson scene with the far off shot of Uxas. And Uxas is anyone?
It's
I always
it's Uxas.
It is Uxas?
I've been corrected many times, and then I actually watched like a video that was breaking down like his origin story, and they called him Uxas.
Uxas, like a ukulele ass.
Yeah, you ass. Yeah,
Uxas. All right, I could, yeah, Uxas. And then
it's so weird. I like Uxas better too.
Yeah, exactly. It's got it sounds more badass. Can like imagine someone like imagine Batman like being like, I'm gonna kill you, Uxas. This is your last day on Earth, Uxas.
Uxas.
That sounds right.
Yeah, but then so he posted that picture from the history lesson, which like it was low resolution and it didn't look like it was completely composited, but it was far back enough that it was like, how done is this one really?
Yeah.
But also like, regardless of how done it is, I mean that's here or there because it's gonna be finished or whatever. That's trivia. But the real question was like, what does he look like?
Right? Yeah, we had never seen him like physically up close.
Yeah, we did. Like we saw a mural of him, and we saw, but no concept art. Well, we had concept art from the back, but
even then, that was that other guard or something like that. You remember, like the guy that actually released it? He was a big dude.
Oh yeah. You
remember? Yeah. So
well, there's the one where he's got like the crystal looking axe. Almost, it's like the super like Technicolored concept art.
Yeah, that concept art.
But it doesn't have his face in it or anything, and plus it's concept art, so it's always different.
Yeah.
So then to finally kind of get his face in there and be like, oh no, so it's like straight up Darkseid. He just doesn't have like what I don't know. He doesn't have the same armor, and you know, he's not Darkseid. He's like he looks the same. He just doesn't have the fittings. Yeah,
yeah. Well, what was cool too is like when I was recording my video, just kind of talking about the entire image and everything. I didn't notice at first, but on his chest, it's like his like pecs and everything. Like you could see the Omega symbol almost like in his chest. If you look at it, it's because he's bare chest.
In the new one,
yeah.
But can you? Because he doesn't have the Omega effect yet. So
that's what's weird though. It almost looks like there's something right there, and I'm like, what?
Were you looking at one of the arts that like colored it in, or were you looking at the original?
I think I was.
I think people were trying to find it there when they colored it.
No, I was looking at the black and white. Like I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
that's the answer to that question. Is everybody's like, how could Darkseid be defeated by them and then be such an issue later? It's like, well, because he didn't have the Omega effect.
Yeah, but it's
just
that he had. There's like it's noticeably that there's something like right there, but maybe I was looking at the wrong one. But I don't think so because it was the black and white one. I don't know. Check it again. Maybe I should pull it up again, but yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I saw it, and you know, obviously, looking at the background, it's pre-viz, and from what I was told, there is previs and post-viz in this same image. So
yeah, post-viz. Well,
it's a combination.
It's a combination. Now, from what I am gathering, the background is previs.
Yeah, it's got the ship.
Okay.
He is what I guess post-viz. Now, I'm not too familiar with post-viz. Or either one of you guys, do y'all know what I'm talking about with post-viz?
Yeah. Well, that's what I contacted my source about, and he talked about that. And then I didn't know about it until I researched it. And it's essentially when you have previs just looks like a fucking shitty, Saturday morning cartoon.
It looks like a PS2 game.
Yeah, exactly. But when it comes to post-viz, they can actually have the design of the character within actual footage. So, because it's post-production.
Yeah, previs is you guys remember that stunt viz that I shared a while back?
BVS.
Yeah,
from BVS, right? So that's the physical version. So that's in post. So Zach, and he talked about this during SnyderCon. So he has the script and then he storyboards every single scene.
Yeah,
and then he gives the storyboards to his stunt team and to his VFX team. The VFX team makes the previs, and that's all the stuff that like you can't do with physical stunts. And the stunt team makes the the stunt team makes like the physical stunt ones, and the previs team goes and makes like the PlayStation 1 looking graphics versions. And those are like moving storyboards, basically. Those are used for as like stand-ins and visual references to use. So if you'll notice in the stunt viz video that I shared, it's basically identical to the warehouse scene, but it's just stunt actors, but it's the same camera shots and everything.
Right.
So the previs functions in the same way, that it's so that they can look at it and say, are we shooting this the same and lining everything up? And then post-viz has the same function, but it's created fresh in post, and it uses the same elements that are going to. My understanding is it's the same elements that are actually used. So there's a model for UXAS that they have made, that they put into that, and etc. But it's not rendered. It's not fully composited and everything. It's just kind of they throw everything in there as like a rough cut of the VFX essentially.
Yeah.
And then then they send the post viz is what the editors kind of have in the, like when Zach showed his rough cut in December, I think is when he showed the first rough cut. Mm-hmm. Likely that had post viz and or previs in some scenes depending on where each one was. And so like the difference is you're going to see post viz has better textures, better articulation, better animation, because it's probably matched up to some extent with like mocap and stuff like that.
Well,
but too, because that face
finished.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not the like mocap isn't clean. Like they got to reanimate all that to make everything line up. Lighting, particles,
minor tweaking,
rendering. Yeah, I mean that word means something.
Minor or major, depending on
minor.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's what that is.
So let me get this straight. So what you're saying is that the image that Zach put out today, he probably put it out in black and white because at the end of the day, it's not the way he would want it to be. Is that correct? Am I saying that correctly?
Oh boy, you're just trying to start shit.
I have no idea, honestly. I can't speak to exactly why he does that. I do know that stuff looks, you can hide it better in black and white. Well, so there's stuff that he shared before that like you can't tell if there's a blue screen or a green screen in the back. Maybe it's got something to do with copyright. That doesn't make much sense to me because
that would be like me posting up any kind of image from any other film randomly and going, yeah, that's copyright infringement. I don't own that film. How do they, you know what I mean? What the fuck?
Yeah,
does
exactly.
That mean?
Well, and he's shared other stuff also though that like just simply making it black and white isn't going to dodge it. And also, it's not he's not going to get a copyright strike like he's a YouTuber or something, right?
That's what I'm saying.
He's going to get like an angry call from Toby Emmerich, and he's going to say, make me stop. Right? Like, what are they going to do to them? Like, they're going to send their lawyers after him, and he's going to say, "Fine, let's talk about this in court. We'll talk about everything that happened." And they're going to say, "Okay, no, we don't need to talk about it in public. Let's just, So
Eric actually brought up a good point too. The staff that he's holding doesn't look like it's anything.
Oh yeah, well,
it looks
staff,
fake as fuck.
If you've ever seen something like, I always go back to the Wolverine unfinished cut. But if you go back to anything that like, especially movies of that era that are like unfinished, you'll see that when something isn't like textured or rendered, it's like it's a shape, but it has no texture, no lighting or anything.
It looks like a big lollipop stick. It looks like
exactly, where it's like a solid color, a solid white or a solid gray or something like that, and that's what the staff looks like to me. Or I think it's a spear or an axe. I think you see part of it in the bottom right corner there. Yeah. Like it's not the High Father staff, probably.
Maybe, maybe not. Who knows?
But I love it how it lines up exactly with that Steppenwolf pick, though, because it shows
that's
that.
What I was gonna say. I mean, I put those two images together, and I mean, literally, they are lined up. You can't make that shit up. And I'm going, okay, well, if that image lines up, what does that mean?
Well, what it means is that they use the same mocap performance. And so, like, what we've been wondering for a long time now is that, yes, they literally just swapped the animation from one model to another, basically. I mean, that's a really overly simplistic way of putting it. But
yeah.
But, yeah, basically, they just swapped the animation.
What's up,
But even then, though, I mean, in his Snyder cut, and I broached this subject when I wrote the article about it, does that mean that we're going to see, or we would see, previs within the history lesson? Because he would have the version that has Darkseid in it, not Steppenwolf.
Yeah, that's true.
Would that be a reason why he would actually have previs in the history lesson?
I don't know if he'd have previs, but it definitely.
Well, previs, postvis, whatever.
Yeah, it'll be that. Yeah, for sure. Unfinished.
Yeah, no comment.
Unfinished.
Yeah. Ooh. I know. That's such a. I know. That's a 4-letter word too. I know.
Oh. Talking dirty now.
I know. I'm just bringing out all the dirty language out. But yeah. I mean, from what I gathered is, that you're gonna see that unfinished Darkseid. But I mean, there's still a lot of detail. A lot of detail that it's already have. I mean, obviously it's a still shot, so you can't really tell when you see it in motion. It probably looks like ass. At some parts or whatever, but
yeah. Well, and like I think Chris Dawson was commenting on Twitter. A really good point is that what this does show, like if it's post viz, which I think it is, because pre-viz would not have the kind of texture that it has in that.
It would look
so if it is post viz, then that means there is a UXS model that exists, right? Which is
I know that it is a post viz image.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that would indicate that there is a model there.
Yeah, exactly. So that means the model exists, and so therefore there's also some animation done on it, and so that's a lot of the heavy lifting that exists for something like that. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of different layers and processes that everything gets done in, right? So you have someone, the pipeline is like really long, and they hand steps off to each person in the VFX process. But if we have, based on what we're seeing in the shot, we know there's a model that exists. We know that it's been animated to some extent. There's no particles whatsoever. My understanding is that shouldn't be the most complicated part, but I only know what I've been told about the process, not about, I'm not a VFX expert. I just talk to them. So this is more than, it's more than it doesn't exist, but it's going to require several different specialists to spend time with it in order to get it done. So it's not like one dude with some Photoshop in an afternoon is gonna wrap it up. Right?
I mean, it wouldn't take a few hours just to complete it all.
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I was actually I was looking at a comment. Chris Wong actually asked why, and I don't know, I don't have an answer, but why would the pullback vision, the wide shot of basically Darkseid in one piece, look more complete than that version that we saw? And like I mentioned, whenever I saw that image, I was like, well, I feel like Darkseid was literally just plucked in and placed in place of Steppenwolf. Like it didn't look, the background didn't match together.
You got Dawson in the live chat too. He just said particles is way cheap compared to.
Yeah, my only thought is that particles going to have a big effect on like lighting and other stuff, but that like I said, my rudimentary understanding is that that's not going to be nearly as hard as like changing the animation would be, or something like that. So I mean, it's the easy. I think the easy parts are the parts that are left.
Gotcha.
As far as the wide shot, I'm not sure on that either. But we do know that these shots are all completed independently, right? So the wide shot being done does not mean that the close shot is going to be done, and et cetera. And so
two different beasts,
right, or there'll be a different animator working on each one, especially because we know that the wide shot's got like the anti-life equation going on, and the ship's going on, right? And
I love those guys, those VFX guys. I forgot. I'm totally drawing a blank on their name. The guys that react to good and bad CGI now.
Yeah.
They've been doing videos forever. I forgot what they're called. I love watching their videos. They even talked about Thanos, and they talked about how the close-ups are just so well done because you can see the pores in his face, the stubble, everything reacts just right. But when it comes to far shots, you don't have to get that detailed. And if you were to pause on a far shot while he's moving, you could pause it and it could look like shit because they're not concentrating on those little tiny details because obviously it's far shot, he's in motion, and it must be really nice for like a VFX artists to just be like, oh, good, it's a far shot. Now I don't have to like go crazy with like a bunch of little different things. But those close-ups, Jesus Christ. I mean, they did a damn good job with Thanos, I thought. Close-up. And it's just, I think it would have been similar for Darkseid, but man. More menacing face. I mean, that shot, it was a perfect shot for Snyder to post because, I mean, it's just, you see anger in the eyes. You see anger in the face.
Well, and it's the first shot that I feel like truly gets across the fact that the movie is missing a character, right? Yeah. As opposed to, we've had other shots that were like, oh, that was missing, like the concept art and stuff. That's all interesting, but it doesn't, for anyone that's not as like into the weeds on this as we are, that doesn't say exactly what this is missing. Whereas they see this and they're like, oh wait, so they had that's what Steppenwolf, or that's what Darkseid looked like, not just hypothetically concept art, long shot, whatever. It says, oh no, there's a face and there's an emotion in that shot.
But like you said before, all we had was a storyboard and a picture on a wall, a mural. Yeah. Now that we have like a full on, like, wow, there was a full on character that was just straight up removed from the movie. Yeah. Somebody asked us, like, now do we know like how much is pre-viz and how much is post-viz? I mean, that kind of begs the question of like now, because I've always talked about how there's going to be pre-viz shots in the Snyder Cut. I mean, take it or leave it. You don't have to believe me. It's whatever. It's just what I was told. But there's pre-viz in there. But now I wonder like how much post-viz is going to be in there now that we're pretty much Darkseid. Well,
and that's what's hard about talking to different VFX people also is it depends on who you talk to within that pipe, but also sort of how well they know you. And they'll say something, like they'll refer to it all as pre-viz, or they'll say pre-viz / post-viz, or whatever, until you have to ask them until they're like, oh no, they know the jargon, and then they'll get like more open. But a lot, it's like, imagine if, I don't know, everyone, whatever your job is, you're a specialist in something and someone came up and asked you about it. You're not going to be like, give them the 5 years on the job answer to the question. You're going to give them the, oh yeah, no, that was a temporary shot.
I think it just depends, because I saw a video that was displaying post-viz and it showed Spider-Man Civil War, the airport scene. And it was supposed to be all post-viz. And sometimes, like when he was going after Falcon, that looked like pre-viz because the whole environment was digital. It looked like that cheap PS1 fucking, kind of graphics. But then there was edits where it was actually within the environment. And then there was sometimes it looked cleaner and then sometimes it went back to that.
Right.
So it was but the whole scene played out. So I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, remember the function of post-viz is to stand in the edit as a substitute, just so that they continue.
So then they could show people, hey, look at what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. So when someone talks about whether or not Zach had like a complete cut, and if it was like, as far as I know, people keep on saying like storyboards were in place of whatever. As far as I know, there are no storyboards in this. Everything has some kind of animation in place. Because he shot everything, and pre and post viz were were done on the stuff that they needed.
Yeah.
So it plays out as a complete movie. Now it doesn't play out as a 100% completely rendered movie, but it is a viewable experience that people can watch as it is now.
Be awesome.
Right.
And, Dawson, he just said, shame we didn't get to hear Euxis think what he thinks about brunch. Cheers. Cheers to that, Mr. Dawson. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't get why, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm just saying I have no idea why he even posted this. Like at the end of the day, like I appreciate it and I'm so thankful that he did it. But
no,
I mean, what was the reason?
Well, I don't always know his reason, or if I do, it's not always the reason I think it is. The thing that I always go back to with him though is I think he even said this in his, I think it was an interview with Dania, or where he said Dania. How do you?
Dania?
We're so bad with names, aren't we?
No, it's Dania. How do you not?
Dania.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Dania.
Yeah, it's all good.
I read names all day. It's
all right. It's okay, Stefan. Okay.
It's all right, Mr. Colbert.
Yeah.
Bear.
But anyway, the point is, she did an interview with Zach, and in the interview, he said, I don't remember what we're talking about now, guys. He said, he said like the dark side version of himself would have been like in sales or marketing. But we know if you read anything about him, you know that he's really good at that, right? I mean, he did commercials for a long time, and he like does his own trailers, and even like 300, he convinced them to add in the Queen Gorgo like subplot.
Is that you, Steven, making the crackling? Is it hitting your beard?
Am I crackling?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was you. Beard a little bit.
And so I think it was in 300, he convinced them to add the Gorgo subplot because the movie wasn't testing well with female audiences. Like he's like, look, we gave them the 6-pack abs and they're still not into it. And he's like, no, they need like a character they can resonate with. And so like they added he got them to add that, and all of a sudden it like took off. And so I mean he knows like psychology and marketing and how to like kind of get buzz going. And so sometimes it's clear why he dropped something because it's been in a topic of conversation or whatever. And then sometimes I just have to say, like, you know what? I think he just knew that today was a good day to get buzz. And look at the news today. I mean, plenty of stuff dropped. It's the day before the 4th of July. Yeah. A lot of people are going to be out of their office for 2 days, right? So we've got the aerial casting. We've got was the Flash news today? Or
no, that was 2 days ago.
That was 2 days ago. But anyway, the point is, it's a big couple days for news because all the trade reporters are going to be out on holiday until Monday. And so I don't know if it's related to that exactly, but the point is, it's like there's all sorts of stuff going on, and so that can play a factor as well.
I don't know, man. I feel like I'm not tooting my own horn. You guys know me. I'm not.
Are you sure?
I'm not intentionally.
Sure. Hey, we saw that you had pants on earlier. I'm not sure now.
But listen, the fact that the Washington Post talked about the Snyder Cut, it was great, and I appreciated it, and I loved it. Mm-hmm. But it kind of fizzled out. Like nothing else happened because of that. Like nothing was going on and on. It was the Washington Post, and all right, great, that's it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, sort of. You've got to think of these trends. It's not always a clean build of like one day something and it's like being one upped every single day. A lot of this stuff is.
I wasn't saying that. I was just saying that for the past couple of days, it was just kind of quiet on the Snyder Cut front, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying after the Washington Post, and and all of a sudden I released a video, and I don't know.
What did your video do?
All of a sudden we got Jerry Ordway, we got Jerry Ordway, and we got fucking Rob Liefeld, whatever his fucking name is.
Yeah, Rob Liefeld. He actually
all of a sudden,
supported it.
Yeah, all of a sudden these people are coming out, talking about the Snyder Cut that has nothing to do with anything that was reported. It was nothing. It's literally just because of the video.
I do want to kind of talk about some of that stuff. We talk about VFX and all that other stuff so much, but I think this is a really interesting aspect of the whole thing, especially the Jerry Ordway. Is that right, Ordway?
Yeah. Ordway?
There's
a D in there.
Yeah.
It may be silent.
But he that stuff is always fascinating to me because we're 18 months into it, and now he's saying, ever since I knew there was a rough cut, I've been supportive of it. Like, these people are out there all over the place, and sometimes it just takes the right piece of news to kind of shake them loose, right? So, like, in this case, I do credit Garza's. You're saying you're not tooting your horn, but like, we know that Garza's video had. If everyone hasn't seen it, go check it out. But it's the alternate intro to Justice League. And what's awesome about it is he took news broadcasts from 1992 when the death of Superman hit newsstands or hit comic shops, and the news was going around, and the anchors were giving like tributes to Superman, and people in comic shops were being interviewed and saying like what Superman meant to them, and he recut it into be like Superman tributes in universe. And so the fact that that's what gets Orway to be like, oh yeah, I want to see this movie, I think is a pretty clear line there.
And it's crazy because I wasn't even thinking about that because I made the Kryptonian cut and I put some news and stuff in there, and the news that I put in there that first time had nothing to do with Superman, and I don't know what it was. I all of a sudden something clicked in my head, and I went, you know what? I'm just gonna search to see if anybody even talked about the death of Superman. Like, who knows? Mm-hmm. And boom, all of a sudden these literally old school fucking 1990 fucking 2 newscasts come up, and they're talking about it like it's like real life, and I was like, dude,
what Superman meant to me.
And I went,
or like he was a symbol of hope for the country, and now he's gone. It's like, well, that
that shit was so fucking poignant, and I was like, dude.
And you better believe that Terrio and Snyder probably even researched on that shit too,
They had to have, because there was literally absent of every little piece of what the world would have been like without Superman. Like, dude, and it's odd that we never really heard what the world thought. I mean, we had this fucking news coverage of aliens probing somebody. Like, we don't know what the fuck. Like,
was Eden's,
I know, but you know what I mean. Like, that was what they tried to do. They tried to take that real world aesthetic, and it was just it's shocking to me. And then to know that essentially, rumor mill, that the lowest point of view opens up with Justice League, and we would have seen that, and we would have seen Superman dying again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I guarantee you that the execs were like, no, we can't show the death of Superman again. We can't.
Well, like, we know from like the trailers, there's the world is in mourning after the death of Superman, and the newspaper, like World Without Hope, and that's all in there. And Snyder is the best there is at montages, and so I don't doubt that there may have been some of that stuff in a montage, but I don't think it was going to be exclusively in a montage. And we're missing 2.5 hours of movie. If you're gonna slash it to the bone, there's no right thing to slash, but I'd slash newscasts before I slashed the actual plot.
I know it sucks too, because then it's just like you don't feel the whole. That's what I always loved about. That's what I loved about BVS, even Man of Steel. It's like you felt like the world was like watching almost. You knew the world was there. But when it came to Justice League, it was like what, this one family with bug spray in a truck. It's so fucking dumb.
Well, and that was kind of like the thing that I was thinking about, which obviously I can't recreate Lois seeing Superman fly off and die. Nice. You know what I mean? Like with the BVS intro.
No, you have to talk to Chris Dawson about that.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy can recreate some shit. Oh my god.
But knowing that Lois would have seen that, that the montage, if there was going to be, there had to be a montage. Like I can't get over the fact that Snyder would have just started the film off like normal, like a regular. This is the Justice League film. You know what I mean?
I hate saying this because there's always like the Justice League Snyder Cut wet dream, and then there's like the actual Justice League Snyder Cut. Not that like the Snyder Cut is not great or anything, but even with with BVS, there was all these questions about these huge, awesome things that could happen, and that's what's so nice about Snyder is there's always the excitement about will he do that crazy thing that nobody else will do, but there's the question that I love is, would he have done a Watchmen style?
Oh yeah.
Opening.
Wasn't there a rumor
montage
that they had that for a bit that they were going to have?
Well, that's kind of like what we tried to do in the theatrical
like that, or they were going to close the movie like that. I think maybe.
Yeah, I think this is like opening or something. But I mean,
Yeah,
it goes back to.
Oh, that was such.
But imagine a Superman, a Superman related
Like intro of seeing all
montage in the style of like Watchmen. It would be super cool.
And that's kind of why I created it like that. And I didn't even realize, like, I was doing it, and when I made this video or this edit, I didn't do it subconsciously, or I guess I did it subconsciously. When I was creating, what Lois is talking about, she's going through a personal experience, right? And to see the world reacting to the loss of Superman, with her, it's kind of like, yeah, Superman's gone, but the love of her life is actually gone. Like it's a completely different take on what the loss would be like for a real world. And so it would have been interesting to see that as far as what Zach would have done, because I can only imagine the real world aspect. I mean, there's no reason why he would have had a banner flying in Hong Kong or wherever they're at, and then flying in London and all. You know what I mean? Like, there had to be reasons why those shots were even there. He's not
Well, and then even like when they fight Superman when he comes back from the dead, I mean, there was supposed to be, the army was supposed to be there.
Yeah,
a bunch of cops. We barely saw any of that. We really didn't.
No, there was nothing there.
Exactly, but with his cut, there was going to be like a full on like state of emergency. Oh my God, what's going on here? And there probably would have been like people watching it on TV or whatever the hell too.
Absolutely, dude. Can you imagine that shit, dude? All of a sudden, we think our biggest hero is dead, and all of a sudden he's risen back again. Like,
but then he's fighting the rest of the heroes.
Yeah,
and it's like
people would have been like, "Wait, what the fuck is going on here?" Shit, he's throwing tanks around, and Cyborg's helping him out, and
I brought out the big guns.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that if Cyborg was going to have a kind of Dr. Manhattan type origin explained, like Steven so eloquently puts it, that it would be perfect that a Watchmen type intro would be there for Superman. I mean, can you imagine seeing all the news headlines and everything that's involved with Superman dying and sacrificing himself, and everybody that is now changed because these new heroes are out? You know what I mean? Like, dude, he probably had news cuttings for Wonder Woman and Batman and all this shit just because. I mean, where the fuck are they talking about? Where's the Gotham Bat? Right? Yeah. I mean, when all that shit, when does that happen? Why would that even be involved in the trailer? Where's the Gotham Bat? All that shit.
True. It's very true because, we know that the way that Bruce starts off, it's not, of course, what we saw. He's out looking for these other people. He's out looking for Arthur. He's out looking for Barry or whatever. So he's got a beard. He's over riding horseback. We wouldn't have saw. I mean, I don't know. I should ask more questions about like how the beginning is.
First off, you should ask every fucking question that you want, because apparently he gets DM'd by Jabil and he fucking answers like that. So I'm just saying, dude, fucking take advantage, please.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want it all spoiled for me.
If you're out for the long run. All right, cool, dude.
I know some more, but I don't want to spoil it for too many people, but I don't know. But when it comes to like somebody even said, like, BVS and Man of Steel, it felt like, hey, the world is actually watching this. But when it comes to Justice League, when it should be like big time, the world should be watching this, it didn't feel like anybody even gave a shit, or like there was even a world out there outside the Russian family.
Right. And that was kind of like the what I was trying to go for with this video. And it was interesting to see all of a sudden people interested in it, because I wasn't hashtagging anything. I wasn't just bombarding the announcement of Ann Sarnoff. It was just something that I created, and boom, all of a sudden people are kind of, I guess, watching it or looking at it, and it just kind of snowballed. And that's what I was kind of talking about with the Washington Post. Well, great, that was it. I mean, there was nothing else going on with it, and all of a sudden I post this video, and boom, news starts happening, and then all of a sudden Zach just happens to drop this dark side image, and it's just like, this is the kind of shit that we need. We need people to talk about what the Snyder Cut would be like if somebody made it, or if it gets released.
Just imagine when the Black Suit edition comes out. I mean, there's probably going to be some buzz after that. I mean, I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna promote it because that's
Well, yeah, I think we all are.
Yeah, we're all gonna do that, and then it's gonna be interesting to see like how it gets covered and how people react to it. And I think we're all looking forward to seeing that. And that might just stir up some big time buzz.
I mean, do you think it's going to be any problems legality wise?
I don't know.
Well, because I mean, you have like official websites that have like fan made edits as long as you own
It's so weird though, because when I did my reaction video, for that video blew up big time. It blew up, and that's when I had Dawson. I was like, "Damn, dude! I just freaking." I'm like, "You're gonna make my video go viral, and you did all the work." That's why, like, behind the scene, I was like, "Dude, let me just donate to some of your shit, whatever a good chunk of what this video made. I want to give it to you, man. I feel bad." And then I was like, can you imagine like what's gonna happen when the full release is gonna come out? And then I expected 100% that I was gonna get a copyright strike. Not once, nothing. I haven't gotten anything. They haven't dinged it or anything. And usually they do, and then I could put in a dispute and it'll clear itself up, but not even a fucking nothing. It's weird. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it just
did your video get strike? Did it strike? Did it get strike?
No, not at all.
I mean, I guess
granted, yeah. I mean, technically it did. It got held back, and then I disputed it, and they were like, "All right, cool."
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, I don't know.
And by the way, Steven, I can't hear you, but I heard you for a little bit. Like what? I can hear, like he had rubbed up against his beard, and I can hear him, but it like went in and it went out, and I don't hear him anymore.
I can't hear him either.
He did something though.
I don't think this is part of the little glitch. You might want to check your settings.
It's his fucking fault.
Because of Garza can't hear you. Can anybody hear Steven? Nobody?
I don't think anybody would be because it wouldn't.
Something happened.
But what I was going to say about the I can hear you. There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Whoa. There you go.
Now you're getting an echo.
Yeah.
So about now.
What I'll say though with the Black Suit edition is
Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's going to draw some attention, but I honestly don't. If Warner's or if anybody from WB or any shit like that is watching me and I'm just some lowly fucking Twitter person, they gotta know that Dawson is doing something incredible that it's gonna gain some attention.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because I mean he's not gonna post it on YouTube. I don't think he's gonna have a downloaded link. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna. What do you think, Steven? You're more in tune with stuff like this.
I feel like those rules are really selectively applied. It depends on what cases are kind of worth it for them to fight. And sometimes like the attention it gets from doing a strike is more damaging than the actual strike itself. Especially if like something like a fan edit like that is gonna spread regardless. And so they might, keep it off of YouTube. Like they'll kind of do what they can to like keep him in his lane, probably.
Yeah.
So they'll make it hard. They'll make it hard to share on Twitter or on YouTube or whatever. But if there's like a mega download link or a Vimeo or whatever, it's probably not really worth their effort to go against that. Especially because the way the copyright law works is that basically anybody that has a legal copy of all the movies that are used to source it, then they technically have the right to like download it, and so that's like really backwards. But basically, someone just needs to be able to say like, look, here's my DVD collection. Right. I can download this, and like so imagine that's really easy on the person being charged to prove, right? But imagine them having to prosecute each of those people individually, and how much are they going to get out of each of them versus like what kind of documentation does like Warner Brothers have to go through to provide versus the dude who downloaded it saying, oh, here's my BVS DVD or Blu-ray. I
mean, I remember when the black and white, the noir edition of BVS came out. I loved it. I love that. Yeah, they called it the noir edition. I forgot who did it. But it was kind of cool because, it was all in black and white, except for the kryptonite was green. And
I think the Batcave, the red was.
Yeah, the red was also there too. Very well done. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It just gave it like a different kind of look. And I remember I watched it on a plane because I had a flight to Portland. And I was like, I'm just going to fucking watch this thing on the plane. And it was very well done. There was even, but there were some scenes that were missing on it. I remember that. But, the copyright thing is it's a weird thing because, when you look at the fair use copyright guidelines, I mean, they talk about parody. If you do a parody, that you can get away with it. If you somehow add your own stuff to existing footage, you can get away with it. So I'm thinking that Dawson would be in the clear, and I think that's why some of these fan edits are, and even like yours, guys, is the fact that you took existing copyrighted footage, but you rearranged it, you added stuff to it, so they kind of look at it like, whatever, or like the algorithms or their whatever the hell the process is just didn't really catch it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, it's funny to me though because again, like sure, I shared all that shit back then, and all of a sudden I share that Aquaman footage. It's literally 3 seconds worth of Aquaman new footage, and they took it off of Vimeo and everything. I mean, dude,
I think it's just because it's full on their footage, like nothing.
Well, right, but I mean, it was like literally it was mixed in
quick.
It was like in the middle of the video. It's not like it was at the beginning and I was highlighting. It was, you had to watch it at least for the first couple of seconds and boom, you'd see it. And it was short. And then it continued everything else that we've seen. So, I mean, I don't know. And like I've been told that Warner Brothers and everybody is really cracking down on a lot of any kind of unreleased footage.
Yeah.
So, it'll be interesting to see.
I think that's why we can't get footage from Snyder. He can only post still shots. He's staying like just under the radar, and I'm sure they're pissed. But if he were to post actual footage, that's where they can actually get him. I don't know.
Do you think they would though?
I think they.
I'm honestly not convinced that he's subject to any of that.
Really?
Personally. Yeah, I think he. I mean, and it's entirely possible, but like. I know people talk a lot about, Snyder's, trying to respect his NDA and all that. I mean, he's a producer on the movie and a director. I hardly think, I'm sure he's got an NDA that impacts, what he can say about, internal meetings with, Tsujihara and Emmerich. But what is in the movie that he made, I mean, he's the one that makes decisions on what can get spoiled or not in a trailer, right? So,
but can he, though? Because, I mean, look at BVS.
Doomsday was his call.
Was it?
Yeah, he's got interviews saying that.
Okay.
Or I don't want to say it was his call, but he was fine with it.
And I remember an interview post that BVS trailer where he was like, "No, don't worry that y'all haven't seen anything yet." But I still was kind of like,
that's
a lot of people, yeah.
Yeah.
I was okay with it because I was so excited. So
I didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and everyone knew already anyway, right?
It was already well known that Doomsday is probably in this movie.
No, I don't know. For me,
I didn't want to
see this. For me, it wasn't. I remember sitting there watching it in my car because it happened on Saturday, right? It was the Comic-Con trailer.
Wasn't it? I don't remember.
No, it wasn't Comic-Con.
It was a Comic-Con trailer. Was it? I don't remember what it was. I remember
I feel like it wasn't because
they showed a lot in that final trailer because they showed a lot of the warehouse.
But it wasn't the final. It wasn't the final trailer.
Wow. Okay. What?
Yeah. Watch. I'm gonna prove it to you guys.
I don't remember.
No, the Comic-Con trailer for BVS. I'm pretty sure was the first reveal of Doomsday.
Was it? I don't think so. I thought it was the third trailer.
No, third trailer was.
No.
I don't remember. I don't have a mind for that kind of stuff, so I always forget.
No, I'm pretty sure the Comic-Con. Okay, I remember there was a teaser trailer, and that was I remember that leaking out, and I remember I was all about leaks, man. I was all about the leaks. I would fucking do a video and be like,
"With you guys figure this one out."
Yeah. No. Now, okay. Sorry, the Comic-Con trailer was not it. It was Comic-Con, or it was the trailer 2, and I remember this specifically.
Trailer 2.
It was the trailer 2 that debuted on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
There you go.
That was at night. Yeah. Because I remember
because the Comic-Con trailer just really built up their fight, and it ended with them it ended up with Superman throwing the Batmobile rooftop aside, and then Batman standing up, And then it was just like, oh my God, that's the way that ended. Yeah.
And then the Jimmy Kimmel one was the trailer. And that was whenever
they showed the Trinity together, and everybody's like, "I do want to see that." I'm like, "Did you not think that was not going to happen?"
Yeah,
I get it. I get the gripe. I'm like, "Yeah, you want to see that in the movie theater? That epic shot that shows the three of them like getting ready to fight, and it just pushes in on them, and it's beautiful."
Oh God,
yeah. But I mean, I kind of get it because they really wanted to sell a movie.
Oh yeah, I mean, you just imagine. I mean, dude, can you imagine if they would have released a 3-hour cut?
Oh,
like the original version.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, I guarantee you they would have been looked at like, yeah, it's crazy, it's 3 hours.
I think it would have got a better reception for sure.
Oh, absolutely. It would have. Sure, they wouldn't have gotten as many showings because of the time.
Yeah, but I mean look at it's still
I know. I know. I'm not complaining about it because I would have watched it.
Yeah, you are. Don't lie. You're a Snyder hater.
Yeah. I'm anti-Snyder. What are you
Here comes the other Snyder hater.
Oh, no, what did I walk into?
I don't know.
So, we figured it out.
We obviously you're a Jeff Johns lover. So.
Clearly.
Yeah.
It wasn't the Snyder. It wasn't the.
You know what? Actually, if you go through my Twitter account, you'll find tweets of me defending Jeff Johns. So I'm sure that'll get passed around.
I mean, me too, but
yeah.
I mean, I know that he was a dick, but I still respect the guy. He still made stuff.
His comic stuff. He's done really good things with comics.
He just doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
He doesn't know how to talk to people. Let's put it that way.
It also sounds like he's an asshole, but that's a whole other matter.
Yeah,
but
that's what I'm saying. Like he is just a fucking jerk.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I'm hearing.
No, I mean he totally ruined. It's very much his fault.
Yeah, and that's the shitty thing about it is that his comic history is fucking great. Like I love.
Oh yeah, he's got a great resume.
And yet he fucked all this shit up just because of why? Because he wanted to be a fucking Kevin Feige?
Yep.
Fuck you,
I think there's a little bit of that. I always also say to look at the Peter principle of this. The Peter principle is that you will be promoted due to like your skill until you reach a point where you're incompetent, basically. Right. And I think there's a lot of things that he's.
It's like a teacher getting a tenure or something like
that.
Yeah,
or anyone that's ever worked in like a corporate job knows that someone who's good at a specific task, like someone who's like a good accountant or whatever in accounting, will get promoted until they're like a manager. And it's like managing is its own skill. Managing is not accounting or like whatever. You're an engineer and you get promoted to you're a manager of engineers. Like managing is a people skill, not a super engineer skill, right? And so someone like him, he's a phenomenal writer, and now all of a sudden he's not making writing decisions, he's making studio decisions. And he's under the pressure to, quote unquote, turn the universe around, right? And Batman v Superman was hated by a
bunch of you fuckers at Screen Rant.
We gave it a positive review. Our editor podcast raved about it. They said, I don't know what everyone's issue is.
Sure they did.
Yes, some of the writers didn't like it, but I think we gave it 3.5 stars, and then which I'm sure is too low, but no, I've listened to the Screen Underground podcast with Ben, Kofi, Rob, and Hannah, or Dice is on that one, I think also, and it was basically unanimous that they were all about it, but but he's got pressure to course correct from that, right? And that's a pressure Snyder felt too. Him and Terrio rewrote the script.
Absolutely.
And so Jeff Johns is put in this. He's given the steering wheel to the ship, and he's told write this ship, and he's not a ship captain, right? And so who knows if it was malicious or if it was ignorant or both? But he's like, okay, well, Joss Whedon knows how to do this because he did it, twice or whatever, and then makes all sorts of bad decisions. But or maybe it was scheming and politics, and he.
I'll tell you this.
The purpose of screwing Snyder over, but
so I've watched Entourage enough to know that I understand Hollywood. Okay.
Okay.
And I could tell you this: it probably, for the most part, was scheming. And just looking at the way that Entourage was created back then, to looking at it now, holy shit, is it not fucking accurate? I mean, I'm talking about just everything. The way that the actors and actresses looked at people that get big, sites viewed all the time, every day. And the way that producers and actors and directors and all that shit are viewed, it's just so fucking accurate that I'm going, Jeff Johns maybe have played a stupid fucking role into it, but he fucked up allowing all this shit to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he should have entrusted Zach, going, look, and it's funny because in the behind the scenes shit of Justice League, what's his name? Jeff Johns talked about, oh yeah, well, I remember when they killed Superman, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't like that. I hated it. And he's bitching about. Oh, sorry,
John.
Sorry, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks for the donation.
And Jeff Johns is sitting there complaining about the death of Superman back in '92, and you can get a sense of why Jeff was so against doing that, and just he probably didn't agree. So he was like, "Fuck this! I'm going to rewrite however I want because I've been giving the title of I'm in charge."
Mm-hmm.
So look at what the fuck happened, though. I mean, that film is so fucking plagued, dude.
I mean, everything. I mean, he was on there for Green Lantern, for fuck's sake,
I know. That's what I'm saying, dude.
I mean, they even talk about that now, how like that movie was starting to film without a fucking full-on script. They just were like, let's do it. And I know exactly. They were like, okay, Marvel just made their Iron Man like their biggest property in the movies. We got to make an offshoot character the same thing. Let's do Green Lantern. I guarantee you it was a totally reactionary, and they're like, let's get Ryan Reynolds. He's good. And it seemed like it aligned perfectly, but then the writing and whatever the fuck was happening behind the scenes was just Jesus Christ.
I know very little about that movie, and I've seen it once. I think. And it was some phenomenal unintentional comedy in that when the plane lands and explodes with his dad waving at him is like
so ridiculous.
It's like I don't know if I ever laughed at something so hard that I wasn't supposed to laugh at. Like it was like a Hot Shots or like a parody level.
I fucking love Hot Shots, man. Charlie Sheen. God damn.
Or like a UHF. Yeah. But what I have heard on that, speaking of Jeff Johns, is that he had a similar effect on that one too. Kind of came in late in the game and was like, "Oh, here's what we should do with this movie."
Sounds about right.
It's just so weird because, like, when you read his books, you go, "Oh my God, this is great. This is written well."
And there's so many parallels in there to like the way Snyder did things, also.
Yes.
So,
and you can't tell me that he didn't reference some of those books. I mean, my God.
No.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, and earlier on too, if you look at early interviews, like way before like BVS was even like done, and it's all PR and whatnot, but Snyder and Debbie, who are Zach and Debbie, who are very politically minded, they're not going to go trashing him or whatever, but they were all very, very complimentary of working with Jeff and how he was, him and Snyder were collaborating on building out this roadmap for the universe.
That's just like how Snyder brought in Whedon, remember?
Oh yeah, Jesus Christ.
But that was before there was anything to cover up, right? That was when like they thought they had like a Marvel killer on their hands. And so kind of in the back of my mind, I've always sort of assumed that I think what happened is they were maybe on the same page at that point, or kind of an agreement on where things would go. They mapped out this epic story they thought they'd go with. And then the ships things didn't click right away. And Snyder said, no, let's stick with it. Cause he's not afraid of the subversive. Like him and Debbie have always been like, no, we make polarizing movies. Like we're okay with this. Like as long as some people love it, like, people will come around eventually. But I think John has started to get cold feet. And the Justice League is like the encapsulation of all of that, right? Because they got so much of that movie done and then changed their mind after it was too late to change their mind, right? Yeah. And then, but changed it anyway.
And had the conceit to just be like, hey, we could reshoot like most of this thing.
And not even push the release date back or like.
I mean, dude, the fact that they had the balls to go, let's just reshoot a lot of this shit in a couple months. We'll be good.
Without even all the actors present. Hey,
that's what I'm saying, dude.
Green screen.
It would almost be admirable if it weren't so heinous.
Right. Because I mean, what they did, I mean, they were able to fill out 2 hours. That's a long time as far as movie time is concerned.
True.
Yeah.
But the quality of it is just unfucking real. Like, to have.
And were they shocked, or did they not know?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
to
have 3 hours. Let's just assume they had 3 hours of fully finished shot film from Snyder, and to only use essentially 45 minutes of it. That's what shocks me the most. You know what I mean? Like, they thought, no, you know what? Let's go ahead and use Whedon shit that doesn't look complete and doesn't look finished. We'll just go ahead and use it.
Well, and as some kind of reports from back then kind of indicated, I still don't know how much of that they intended to be a we're screwed anyway thing. But I kind of got the impression that some of that was like, maybe they didn't necessarily think it was great, but they thought they were kind of softening the landing of like, okay, this is going to be a bad movie, but it's not going to be a bad movie that, destroys the characters in the process, right? Like, Batman v Superman came out and you had all the complaints over Superman's too dark, Batman's a murderer. And it's like, okay, it'll be a shitty movie, but at least people will say these are, and they weren't. So I'm not defending the version.
I know, but then it's just like you have that opening scene with Superman's fucking face, and you're going like, who goes? Yeah,
but that betrays their philosophy there, though, is they think that it's more important for Superman to be talking about hippos and car keys with kids than it is for him to have a fine looking face, right?
Yeah.
And that's why that's one of the things they murdered in the movie. Is just like the general visual aesthetic is just destroyed across the board. And that was, you look at some of these shots from BVS of especially like of Superman and just like how majestic the lighting is. Yeah. Nope, but it's too dark. So, it's okay if his lip is jacked up so long as he says, I believe in truth and justice.
Right, dude. I mean, that is just so, and that actually brings me to like understand why a lot of these horror directors are probably taking over these DC characters, because there's no reason why we should have fucking quips like that in DC comics. I mean, there's, you know what I mean? Like, we're not Marvel. That's not a fucking Marvel thing to do. And so, even hearing The Flash basically getting rid of the two directors that would have probably made this a Flash film like a Spider-Man film.
Yeah. Although, did you guys both see Game Night?
No, I never saw it.
I liked it.
Yeah, I'm really a fan of the direction that the Flash is going, and the Spider-Man Homecoming connection with Goldstein and Daly and Goldstein was like definitely concerning.
Yeah.
But what they did with Game Night, I thought was like it's a comedy, but there's like how long is that tracking shot?
Oh, it goes on.
Movie? There's it's really phenomenally filmed, and it's dark. Like it's a dark comedy for a lot of it, like
perfectly executed, gruesome comedy almost.
Yeah, exactly. But it's rare that you see that kind of technical care taken to a comedy.
And it surprised me because Vacation Reboot was a fucking shit sandwich. I could not stand that.
Well, it just shows you, look at like the guys that did Chernobyl, like what they did as the Scary Movie guys.
Chernobyl. That's right.
So you never know.
Yeah, Scary Movie's fucking good though. So
or like look at James Mangold's filmography, like before he did the Wolverine, right?
Yeah.
He did like Kate and Leopold, and
he didn't do very, but then he did Walk the Line.
Kate and Leopold is a phenomenal movie, but it's not Logan. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. I'm just I can see why Hamada is probably bringing in these, and people want to say that Shazam was kind of, I guess, I don't know. People had problems with Shazam having a few jokes in it. I don't know. It's like I watched Shazam going. Yeah, I know. Like I watched it going, well, that shit kind of makes sense whenever they were joking and all that shit. And all of a sudden,
I thought the greatest joke is when he was falling. He was just like, I believe I can fly. I believe, which arm is it? And I'm like, yes, just something subtle like that, where he's like, he's trying to figure out which arm to put out. And I'm like,
yeah, because at the end of the day, he's like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing. Like, he knows Superman's there. He knows Superman exists, and he doesn't know what the fuck to do.
Exactly.
And he's a 15-year-old fucking kid. Like, are you kidding? Like, why wouldn't he be thinking like a child? And so, but also knowing that when I was watching Shazam, I was like, God damn, some of this shit is pretty fucking gruesome. The shit makes sense.
The opening was dark. The opening was pretty damn dark. I was like surprised with the seven, the sins were like, when you hear the voices, I was like, when I was in the movie theater, I went, oh my God, I feel it in my chest.
Yeah, like I was kind of like, all right, well,
they're gonna get freaked out.
It's one of those things where people pull the Marvel card out, like the Marvelized card, every time a new movie starts to show like comedy. But you look at something like Indiana Jones, and that stuff was like all basically action comedies.
Yeah.
And like Marvel, has too much comedy, and it's influenced other things. Some of the things it's taking influence from. But then you get something like Shazam, and it's funny and has jokes, but very few of the jokes to me are like Marvel jokes.
Well, you know what Marvel does, and they do this in Far From Home. I know you guys haven't seen it yet, but they do a lot of like when something when something happens within the movie, like say a certain thing happens, and they need you to just kind of like accept, like, oh, we're just gonna kind of like fast forward to get him back to this part, and blah blah blah. We're just gonna use jokes. Yeah, and I noticed that, and it annoyed the piss out of me. And I'm going, okay, fine, that's what you guys do. And I've seen that even in other Marvel movies where it's just they resort to like a scene transition with a joke. And it just sometimes just doesn't land with me. I can hear people in the movie theater laughing, and I'm going, really? Hey, you accept it?
So much of that is like trained. It's to the point where there's stuff in Marvel movies that I'm pretty sure isn't supposed to be a joke that people laugh at because it falls like on that beat. So like Endgame really pissed me off at the beginning because when Thor kills Thanos, I thought that was like pretty tragic, right? Because it was like I went for the head because he spent like how long was it? Like
5 years,
a month or whatever. Well, it wasn't 5 years yet because I think it was before.
Not yet.
But he spent all that time thinking like half of the universe died because I didn't go for the fucking head.
Which is smaller target. Let's be real, okay? It's not the chest. The chest is a big fucking target.
Yeah, of course. But he's also like the god of thunder, and he could have ended him in one shot there. But as I think,
all that
the Russos said is like
all they had to do is just have him just like, taking those deep breaths and everybody just looking at each other and nobody saying shit.
Yeah.
Because that scene would have been a lot heavier if he didn't say that. You're right.
But even if he didn't say that, I thought the way they executed it even was I've only seen it the one time, so I could be wrong. But my personal feeling when he executed on that was like it didn't matter how many times he cut Thanos' head off. Half of the universe was dead, and I thought there was something deep there about like his inner turmoil. Right. And I felt like they were even executing on that, but yet the audience cracked up, and I was like, yes, that is normally where they would put a punchline, but there was no punchline. Why is everybody laughing? It's like because they're like, oh no, it's a Marvel movie. This is where the joke goes.
Yeah. Or it wasn't even that. It was just like, oh yeah, it's not too serious. It's not a serious film. It's like, dude, the fucking villain just got his head chopped off in the first 15 goddamn minutes.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here.
That movie took all sorts of left turns that were like wrong.
Exactly. That's what I was like.
But
when I watched that, I went, okay, so what the fuck is this film going to be about if they just literally killed the Thanos that was responsible for all that shit?
No, yeah, but my takeaway was just that it was crazy to me that it very much felt like people were reacting to what they expected to fall on that beat, which was comedy, because that's what normally happens on that scene. It's like, oh, okay, there's a slight tense moment. Marvel throws a joke in. We laugh. We transition to the next scene. Move on. And so when you compare that to something like that's in Shazam, sure, there's a lot of jokes, but like the jokes weren't undercutting the drama. Like he didn't meet his mom and then have her be like, oh no, I gave you up intentionally, and then have him be like, oh well,
yeah,
here's the joke, and then like, they let it.
I guess I should have found my dad then.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it's funny though, because a lot of the detractors, and I say detractors, I just mean the people that bitch about any DC film that's not a Snyder film. they want to take Shazam and act like it's the worst fucking thing ever, and I'm like, dude, it's like Aquaman. Like for me, Aquaman, I'm watching Aquaman, and I'm like, dude, I didn't need to see those jokes. And Shazam, I'm like, I never really felt that way. I was like, no, this is some serious shit, and Sandberg knew what he was doing with this film.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And I'm going, I don't understand the reason why people would even have that big of an issue with Shazam over Aquaman or Wonder Woman, because it's like, dude, Shazam was like a full-on fucking serious film. Like there was no...
Well, and I haven't gone back. I only saw it once, and I don't know. I'll probably get it and watch it, once when it's on digital, and then who knows how often it'll be on rotation after that. So, it's hardly the, BAVS that I saw 6 times or whatever in theaters. Right. I think I only saw Aquaman once in theaters also. Saw it a couple times since it came out on digital. And so there's a clear separation there. So it's not like, oh, it's just as good as it ever was. But absolutely. Like if you're going to talk to like an affront to filmmaking or whatever, I don't think it doesn't dip, like especially like compared to like Justice League, nothing is worse than that. But I think it was exactly what it needed to be, right? Like I don't know if there is a Shazam movie that is better than BVS, unless it's like Kingdom Come, right? Is that a
but even then though,
story?
That's a Superman story.
Yeah.
I mean, but the thing is, like with Shazam, the fact
that
they
decided to tell for this movie was never going to be a BVS or a Man of Steel. And if they had done that, it would have been the wrong creative decision. It would have been it would have been a cookie cutter, like ruining a creative vision is what it would have been, which is
exactly. And the fact that even in Shazam, we see them go to a fucking titty bar. Like,
it's a repeated joke too about the kid he wants to go back in. And,
like, dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude,
or Darla is like they had glitter in there, so much glitter. Like, dude,
I was sitting there laughing my ass off at that part.
That's like a Phase 1 Marvel joke, but like they wouldn't dare do that after actually after the Disney acquisition is when that stuff all started. Right?
That was
like Tony Stark getting laid, and
that was Iron Man 1, dude. That was Iron Man 1 humor.
True, huh? It was like right after that. It's like no, you're with Pepper. That's it, Pepper.
Yeah.
You can flirt.
Well, it's even with her. Like, there's no nobody like. Tell me, like, who is romantically involved with anyone else?
It was so up in the air because it was like when it came to Spider-Man: Homecoming, it was like, where's Pepper? Where's Civil War? Where's Pepper? And then all of a sudden,
Tony waking up next to Pepper in the middle of the night is like the most romantic any MCU movie ever gets, right? Like after Iron Man 1, where he when
he had like a bad dream,
yeah.
I'm just saying, like to see that from. Aquaman felt there was a couple of scenes where I was like, I didn't need to see that shit. Shazam, I didn't feel that way. So all of a sudden now we're going to have Flash with the It director. Well, I've never seen It. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm not going to see
it. Both of you.
First off,
I have not seen it.
What's wrong with you guys? Jeez.
I'm interested. I don't catch horror like as a rule. So I catch it as usually like after the fact if it's like really
good. End this broadcast. What's happening? Oh, there's a glitch. Jesus.
No. I'm not.
I can't hear you all of a sudden. What's going on, Garza? What?
Like I would much rather if I had a female friend or at least a girlfriend, which I probably won't have for a long time. I would much rather watch a scary or horror film with them versus watching it by myself. There's no fucking reason why I need to watch it by myself. I'm sorry. Like the shit's scary. I'm not into horror. I'm sorry. Like
I get it. It's fine.
Okay.
I'm not entertained by it. I enjoy like the filmmaking aspect of it, but I don't get like any like personal enjoyment. Like I don't enjoy the process of watching it. After the fact, I'm like, oh, it's really cool how they used that.
The characters are so likable. You guys should watch it just for the characters. They're so likable.
I've been meaning to. I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm not really dragging.
I mean, if you love, what's his nuts, Dylan, whatever the hell, Freddy, who played Freddy. I mean, he's great. He's great in it, and so is what's his nuts from Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again,
which comes out tomorrow or at midnight.
So there was a film that I watched. It was I forgot what it was called. It was like Vero, I think is what it was called. It was about this girl in Spain, about Veronica. It was a scary film, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I watched it is because the girl that I was dating at the time, she really wanted to watch it. So I was like, all right, cool. And it just felt good to have her kind of like, all close up on me and all that shit. For me, I was watching it going, I can feel like something's about to pop up or something's going to happen. Like, that's all I was thinking about. So I was just like,
don't
dude,
watch the first and third Annabelle movie then.
Fuck no, I'm not going to watch any of that shit.
Dude, I know,
the trailers fucking scare me, dude.
The one that Sandberg did was good. Annabelle Creation was good. This last Annabelle movie annoyed the fucking piss out of me. Because all it was literally like most of the movie would have been like 13 minutes long if it didn't have a bunch of fucking slow motion walking down a hallway with like a flashlight or something going, hello? You know, it was just kept building up to a fucking jump scare. And I hate it when directors just do that. And it was just, God, I fucking hate that. Because I'm sitting in my chair going, I'm like covering one ear like, when is it going to happen? It's just happened.
Yeah. And that was the perfect thing about watching A Quiet Place, because it took you out of that jump scares. Yes. Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I can appreciate
that scene in the bathtub when she was giving birth. I was literally just like, what the fuck? Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like, dude, it's like A Quiet Place.
He has to be quiet. I was like, oh my god, that was beautiful.
But even what's it called? Annihilation. Somebody was tweeting about that. That technically is a horror film, right?
Oh, Don't Holy is when you have that creature when they're just standing there, and trying to be like, oh, don't move, and that thing is just like, just like, oh god, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It's
right. So like, I could appreciate certain aspects of it. I just don't like watching a lot of horror.
Have you watched the Conjuring movies?
Fuck no.
But see, James Wan does a really good job of that too.
He also did a great job of incorporating Mr. Worldwide. So, I mean,
Okay. I mean, what? Mr. Worldwide? What is that? What?
I don't know. I just felt like talking shit.
Okay, it's fine. James Wan is really good at that. Sandberg's pretty good at. I mean, like when I saw Annabelle Creation, my friend, we walked out going, wow, that was actually pretty damn good. Like, there was a nice little origin story for this Annabelle movie. But then, like, the previous Annabelle movie was dog shit. And then the last one that just came out was also dog shit. I'm like...
Well, don't they have, like, The Nun or something? Isn't that
the Nun was horrible, too. Like, I didn't like The Nun either. Like, it was just... Some of these guys, like, when these directors think that they can direct horror and it's all just built up jump scares and the cliche... tropes. I mean, this last Annabelle movie had the fucking trope of babysitter and the uninvited friend shows up but she doesn't play by the rules, and the babysitter has a crush on the boy that lives across the street and he shows up and blah blah blah. It was like, really, can you guys just come up with a different fucking formula, please? It's always that stupid babysitter goddamn bullshit. And the way
like a scary movie.
Exactly. And I'm going off on a rant here about Annabelle because Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of spoil how the doll gets out of their little closed case in their fucking basement. Literally, like, okay, so if you're the Warrens and you have this doll that is a conduit for demons, and you have to stick it behind this case that has like special fucking church glass or whatever that keeps it contained. The keys that you have to open up that fucking room, you would not just leave on your desk willy-nilly. And that's what happens. They leave for the fucking night and they leave the keys on the desk. So the friend who doesn't play by the rules finds it and goes, okay, thank you. And there it goes. That's how it happens. And it's like, fuck off, please. That's lazy. Sorry.
Well, that's why A Quiet Place was so genius to come out.
Quiet Place was beautiful. I love that.
And I don't know how they're gonna incorporate the second.
Yeah, I'm worried about the sequel because Krasinski's not directing. I know he's producing, and I think he helped.
Really?
He's not directing it.
Oh.
I know.
I know that they were trying to go at a different angle of why this should happen, but
I'm hoping that it's going to be kind of like how. See, when it comes to the Saw franchise, the first 3 Saw movies I thought worked well together. I thought it was a nice little trilogy, but once 4 came about, that's when it started getting messy, in my opinion. But I thought the first 3, like what James Wan and Lee Wannell did with that first one, I thought was beautiful. And then I thought they capitalized on it with the second one, and even the third one, it was like a nice little, hey, rounding out of this story. But then they, of course, kept going, and it just got messier and messier. So I always worry about that one because I think A Quiet Place should just be a one-off, like Tremors. I love Tremors, but then they
Tremors.
did Tremors 2 Aftershocks on direct-to-video, and it was fucking horrible. And then they just kept going with
Fucking
the B-roll
Tremors.
shit, and it was like, oh God, what you guys just literally destroyed this franchise. I mean, my God.
Oh, is my audio still good?
You're fine.
Oh, I'm just being quiet. Okay.
Yeah.
It was like in the chat. It's like, Steven's audio gone? I'm like, I just haven't said anything in a minute.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm wanting to talk about, since we're talking about horror directors, though, we talk about The Flash a little bit.
Yeah. It looks like we're going to get what I'm hearing is, in fact, Mr. Andy, I can't say his Muschietti. What is it?
Muschietti.
It's sounding like, according to what I've heard, is, he's pretty much locked into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Do you think that's good?
Well, based on the what we kind of know from the public narrative, right? Like I think we've heard a few other things. Well, first of all, the stuff all about whether or not Ezra has been gone has been going around for a long time.
It's still very much up in the air. I mean, as far as we know right now, it's good, but who knows?
To clarify the details on that also, like his contract was supposed to be up in May.
Yeah.
And I was told, and was reported by the Hollywood Reporter, and so that's not like hearsay. That's a trade publication speaking on the status of a contract of an actor. Like that's something that's the type of thing they know, right? And so we're past that now. And I was told by someone else who, tends to be pretty right. They're not like a studio source, but they tend to know what's going on from people, that his contract was intentionally lapsed, which means if it is renewed, it's going to be like they did that so that if they re-sign him, it'll be under new terms, right? It doesn't mean he's done. It just means that in order to continue, he'll need to sign a new contract. And so what we know publicly, based on the sort of the news of the whole development with this, is that he, like Affleck, like everybody else, really Henry's the only one that didn't sign up for the 5-part story, right? He signed up for whatever his contract was, but Snyder didn't.
Sorry. Dawson's leaving. Sorry.
Dawson, thanks for joining in.
Yeah.
But Cavill, when he signed on for Man of Steel, Snyder didn't have like this 5-part arc, right? I'm sure maybe he said, here's where we could go in the future, but he didn't have the same thing.
No.
What Affleck went into, what Miller went into, what Fisher went into, what Momoa went into, and probably Godot also, was all like very eyes open, like here's where my arc is going over the course of these films. And so, so when Affleck leaves, it's because he's like, this is not what I signed on to play.
Exactly.
And so what we know about Ezra Miller, based on that report that came out a while back about him writing with Grant Morrison, which is just like an awesome, I love that headline.
Think about that. See that picture, it was like, yes.
Is that he was fighting for a darker version, which I imagine is, maybe it's not the same story, but he's like, no, I signed on to play a particular version of the Flash. Like this is the character that I signed on to play. Is this version of the character?
Yeah, it's
and
not
so we know that.
Barry Allen, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Daly and Goldstein were going a different direction. I feel like, and so Ezra was fighting back against that because, and he's not like he's a relatively comedic and light person too. So it's not like he's like, this has to be the grimmest, darkest thing ever. But he wanted to, maybe it's not Snyder's 5-part arc or the exact same thing, but he's like, no, this is, I signed up for this, and you are, now trying to make a movie that is other than what I signed up for.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that he stays, even though like I've always made the joke too about, I was like, can we get a blonde Barry Allen around here? I mean, it's been 3 times we haven't had a blonde one. What's going on here? But what?
I was gonna say, we know 2 things about him sticking around though, right? Is for now he's still attached.
Yeah.
But we kind of got to this impasse of like, what was the last story? The last story was in last-ditch effort to save his role as the Flash or whatever. Ezra Miller is writing a new script with Grant Morrison.
Yeah.
Now, per the new report, it's not the same script that's being used, but who left and who stayed? Daly and Goldstein wanted the lighter version. Ezra Miller wanted the darker version. Daly and Goldstein leave. Ezra stays, even though he's like not on contract. Although he is, WB wants to keep him around. They want to treat him well because of Fantastic Beasts.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, they want to make him happy for Fantastic Beasts, which who knows if he's using that as leverage.
Well, but okay, let's use that.
And they bring in.
Let's use that. Yeah, great. That's awesome. We don't know if Ezra's going to be there. That's cool. Let's just assume that he does stay. Well, do they keep, Kiersey Clemens? Do they keep Billy Crudup?
If they do.
Oh yeah, if they keep him, they keep them.
Great. Okay, that works. Perfect. Yeah. Well, okay. Do they have films coming up? I mean, how is the schedule going to work out?
That's the thing. It's like, and I was actually, it's funny, Garza. I was thinking about this today too. I was thinking about the Spawn movie today, in light of it, because I'm like, what's going on with the Spawn movie? You tapped Jamie Foxx. Jamie Foxx is not easy to probably tap to,
Well, he wasn't before he got involved with Katie Holmes.
Yeah, that's right, that whole thing. But anyways, I'm just going by the sense of like he could be in demand. He does multiple things, and I went like, and I was actually thinking about that today. I was like, okay, if it's Jamie Foxx just like every day going, what's going on with Spawn? What's going on with Spawn? I got to do other shit. How are we going to work this out when we finally get the fucking green light? And I know McFarlane's having trouble, especially after, I guess, Hellboy kind of fucking put a dent in some of the pre-production for Spawn, because now is it the same studio that's going to do Spawn as the Hellboy? I don't remember, but I think whatever, I don't know. I just remember reading something where the fact that Hellboy was a flop so much, and it was because we have this character that is obviously is Hellboy, R-rated and this, that, and this, and Spawn's going to be very much in that vein. So I think like, oh well, that bombed. Now we don't want to do your movie. So now he's going to have some struggles with it. But I'm like, man, I remember it sounded like McFarlane was like gung ho. He was ready to go. He got Jamie Foxx. I believe Jeremy Renner was also cast. And now it's just, I've heard nothing.
Well, that's just it, though, right? I mean, we don't know if Ezra's going to be there. We don't know if all these other people are going to be involved.
Another thing too, and this might, piss off some people if I say this, but I mean, we're in progressive times, and Ezra Miller is a gay man. It's always nice to have that in your disposal. I mean, obviously, they probably wouldn't utilize him like that.
He said he was into both.
I think he's bi. Yeah, I think he's 100%.
I'm sure.
Gender fluid. He's like,
he goes, whatever.
Don't try to pin him down to one thing. He wants to have everything.
Yeah, but I mean, 100%. But the thing is, it just looks good in this society right now. Yeah. Is to have like, hey, we have an actor who's playing, a character, and he's gay, and so to have him also in another franchise, it's like,
well,
it's just like Warner Brothers might not like, we don't like this direction, but it'd be smart to keep him.
Right. Well, what I heard is they don't like his direction, right? Yeah, so they didn't pick the Morrison Miller script. They picked they're bringing in
they're bringing in Hansen
to write it. So they didn't. So Miller's script didn't win.
God,
but look, the fight was over. It was between Daly and Goldstein, light, Ezra Miller, dark. Daly Goldstein left. Ezra Miller stayed, but they rejected the script. So my imagination on this is saying probably what happened is, last man standing. He's getting somewhat of his way. I bet it's more of a compromise where they're like, okay, so we're not going to use you and Grant Morrison's script, but we will go a little bit. We're not going to do a comedy. We'll go darker, but not maybe not. Who knows how dark Miller even wanted it, but and so they bring in Muschietti. The other thing that Muschietti indicates to me is that they're probably dropping the budget.
Right? Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So I bet Daly and Goldstein are going to do like a $400 million Flash movie.
And so now they're like these horror directors too, because they know how to work within a confined budget. Exactly.
So now I think they were thinking we can only do Flash because it's VFX heavy. They were probably thinking we can only do that with Aquaman budget or maybe even a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And then they bring in a horror director now. So to me, that says not that they're losing confidence in it, but that they're willing to take more risks with it because they're going to make it a little bit leaner budget wise. So to me, all signs say Ezra stays. movie is darker than whatever the Daily Goldstein version would have been. Although I don't see them making like a bleak Flash film.
No,
but,
they're not going to do that. But another thing too is like
I think Ezra's getting mostly his way though.
So I mean, one thing I've always talked about too is the fact that it must be pretty difficult to do this when you have a hit TV show with the same character. That's very lighthearted, lighthearted. You know, like, I mean, I watched the first 3 or 4 seasons and then I kind of lost interest because I got kind of tired of lightheartedness. I wanted something a little bit more, and I was kind of hoping that we would get this with Ezra Miller's Flash. But go ahead, Garza. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, you know, sure, I get the whole script that they're not gonna do with Morrison and Ezra, but now they're bringing in Christina Hansen.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, this is her 3rd fucking DC film.
Yeah.
Like, okay, they allowed Terrio to write a half of a script in BVS and then made him rewrite something else for Justice League. So I'm going,
who's the they, though? It's a different they than
I know.
The they now.
Right, yeah.
But that's my point, though, right? Like, okay, well, now all of a sudden they are giving Christina Hodson a 3rd fucking film to write. There is no co-writer. There is Christina Hansen being the writer, the sole writer of Batgirl, Birds of Prey, and now The Flash.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but technically, so we don't know. So we know Birds of Prey she stayed on, but we don't know what's going on with Batgirl, if that's going to happen. And we also don't know if she's going to be like the final writer on Flash, right? She could write it. She could be with anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she could be just writing a treatment, and then they're going to bring in somebody else that's going to do a rewrite, and so it's going to be like she's going to get a story credit, or she's going to get a.
But why would they? If she's already done Birds of Prey, why would they even try to bring? If they loved Birds of Prey, to greenlight it that fast? Because Birds of Prey happened quick. There was no like, oh yeah, it's been in development for a fucking while. No, that shit happened quick.
No, and I'm not saying that she's like for sure only going to be a cog in the system here. But once you get somebody that works on a lot of projects like that, like that's what Marvel does, for example. They've got like a writer's room who turns out script treatments, and then they bring in like their Taika Waititi's or whoever is going to be doing some writing on it, and they they're James Gunn or whoever, and they rewrite to kind of add their style into it. But like they take a writer's room produced script, and Hodson is hardly a writer's room unto herself. Yeah. But they did the same thing with Aquaman, right? They had the dueling scripts, if you remember way back when. They hired 2 different people to write 2 different scripts, and then they picked the right one. Yeah. So this far out, I think we can't necessarily say, look at what happened with Reeves in the Batman. He's got way more control over that, and so he did all his own rewrites. But they could easily bring in another writer or request a rewrite or whatever. And we don't know if what is she working from? Is she starting from scratch? Or how much of this is going to be has evolved from
up some stuff, some dialogue or whatever.
Well, the way the WGA works also is they credit whoever an idea appeared first. They don't care who influenced it or like it. Hodson could have never read the Graham Smith or the Famiua or the Goldstein script or like any of those existing scripts. There could be a Flash script that was written in like, and I'm sure there was in like 2003 that's sitting in an archive somewhere that nobody's seen for a decade. But then the Flash movie gets made and there is a random concept that was sitting in that script that appears in the movie. That writer is going to arbitrate it and he's going to get story credit on the final product.
That could work, yeah. What's funny about Shane Graham Smith? He blocked me on Twitter. Because
I didn't even know he was on Twitter.
Yeah, he was on Twitter. It's because of Ghostbusters 2016. He was like yammering on and on. He said like, well, Ghostbusters is not a franchise technically. There's only 2 movies. And I went, do you not know what a franchise means, bud? Franchise means not just movies. It means comic books, TV shows, merchandise, blah, 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 blah. And I even screenshot, like I looked up franchise and like the definition popped up on Google and it showed that and he blocked me right after. I was like, you dick, you don't even know what the fuck, because he was trying to defend Ghostbusters 2016.
It's so weird because like that's what he does. I mean, he's like a writer's room guy. He works on like Hollywood franchises.
Yeah.
Except I think like Abraham Lincoln of Vampire Hunter is like the only thing that he's like is
that what he did?
Yeah, right. Everything else that he's done is like he was in the Justice League writers' room, right?
Yeah.
And then they so it's so funny for a guy who's like whose primary source of income is from like franchise projects.
Yeah, and he didn't know the definition of a franchise. Like he literally tweeted that out that, you can't have a franchise with just 2 movies. And I'm like, dude, there's cartoons, there's comic books, there's toys. Of course it's a franchise. What the fuck are you thinking? And he blocked me right after I proved him wrong. It was so weird.
Right.
I also got blocked by Rob Liefeld though too, so whatever.
Oh yeah, he's been tweeting about.
He's a dick.
Cut.
Oh, I know, and that's cool. But it's funny.
I know.
The reason why he blocked me is because when BVS came out, he was going off. He hated BVS. He talked about that like crazy.
Liefeld?
I was like, and he was just going off about.
Well, it's funny because today he was like, "I've been a Snyder fan since day one," and posted a picture of all his Blu-rays.
Fucking full of shit. He was.
He blows whichever. He always follows the
trend.
Current.
Yeah. He's a fucking. He's a bitch.
I mean, I get it. I like.
No, I know, I get that too. But it's just, and especially this probably coming after after what's his name, Jerry, talks about the Snyder Cut, and who's also in the comic book universe. Maybe I don't know. Maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But I just remember he was going off on BVS a lot, and I was like, dude, relax, man. You have your franchise. Just let the fans have their franchise. And then he said some shit to me, and then he blocked me right after.
Well, and you get a bunch of these like producer types or writer types who stop talking about it in terms of like an actual movie, and they'll start criticizing it like in terms of, oh well, it didn't succeed where Marvel does at the box office, and so therefore was a fit. So you'll get like Liefeld saying that, and he'll judge it like as a franchise or as a brand instead of like how much he enjoyed it. And so you see that from Liefeld, and you see that from
screenwriters,
from Dan Alter, or a bunch of different
fucking
where he'll be like, oh, I love Snyder and I love BVS, but then he'll be like, oh, make mine Marvel because. Why? Because they're better? No, just because they're winning. People like to root for whoever is winning.
Oh God, I hate when he says that. Make mine Marvel. Hashtag make mine Marvel. Fuck.
He said that about a Disney. He said that about like, what did he say? He said something about like Lion King. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. It hurts my brain. It was like Lion King is like a shot for shot remake of the cartoon and not nearly as original or fresh as Endgame. Disney doesn't know what they're doing. Make mine Marvel. And I was like, wait, what if you?
wait. You just shat on the same. What the fuck? You praise and shat the same thing. Wow.
Hey, Steven, have you real quick before I get off, because I'm gonna, it's almost 2:00 here, which technically it should be almost 3:00. Where
better be still
no,
on.
I'm the same time as you. I'm almost 2, but I just don't sleep. So
it's still July 3rd for me, guys.
Yeah. No, I've got a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. I don't sleep.
Oh, you guys have kids.
So, fuck DC for now, right?
Wow, you guys heard it here first.
No, listen to what I was going to ask. Yeah,
no, just kick him right there. That's the final.
Hashtag fuck DC. No, but what I was going to ask you, Steven, is, we heard the interview of Simon Kinberg of Dark Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you know of anything that is potentially happening with the X-Men universe, of anything MCU wise or anything? Because I am curious about that.
No, I've heard nothing. I mean, no, nothing like worth talking about.
Okay.
I think I don't think they're playing coy when they say they're in no rush to bring out the X-Men. I think people are chomping at the bit, and they think that we're going to see them like right away.
To me, I think the Fantastic Four is going to show up before.
Yeah, and they will see Fantastic Four soon.
Oh yeah,
we'll see separation from them.
Before, big time see the Fantastic Four before X-Men.
But also think about this in terms of like the sort of Marvel strategy or branding. They've already got the wheels turning on the Phase 4 Cosmic Eternals like all that, right?
I mean, they could potentially use the whole snap thing and going back in time to basically put, all right, great,
right.
Now there's X-Men involved.
But look at this. So if Spider-Man: Homecoming hits $1 billion, it'll be the third movie in a row and the fifth in 2 years, right?
True.
Gross.
So like they've got this production pipeline set up where like they're printing money, right? And so they could try to, excite fans and bring X-Men in next year, or so everyone's all worried about what happens after the Avengers. Now they're bringing all these characters people don't know. What the hell are the Eternals? So we've got this Phase 4 stuff going on. So imagine if Spider-Man's got another few years, and him and Captain Marvel and Black Panther, and the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of carry us through the end of Phase 4, right? And then like Phase 5, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh look, bitches, it's Wolverine." Like, right? Man. Isn't that like right? So
directed by Snyder.
So like,
can you imagine?
But like, so like we're talking like 2030. All of a sudden they're like, okay, here's Wolverine, here's Cyclops, here's and then we've got another 20 years of MCU movies, right? Because of that. So
can you imagine the potential of what could be the X-Men universe in a not MCU? I'm not talking about that shit, but like, dude, the amount of recasting all of those characters, bringing them into something else that we've never seen before.
Dude, yeah. I mean,
because everyone wants to see like X-Men and Avengers team up, and that would be cool. But really, I think that they're not going to do that. They're going to be the next, like they're going to be the replacement, right? When they run out of when they, yeah, exactly. When the existing, because what are they going to do after? They're already getting the Eternals, and like that's who knows who they are. And they'll probably be the next Guardians of the Galaxy, though, right? In terms of like this team nobody heard of that all of a sudden they're popular. And then, but all the while they have the X-Men kind of laying in wait for, to kind of bring them. They're going to give it some breathing room, and they're going to let their current plan play out. And then they're going to bring in, the X-Men, and that's just going to be $1 billion movie after $1 billion movie.
Ugh.
I don't know. Whoever gets the claws, the Wolverine claws, I mean, I almost feel sorry for that person. Because, my God, they have some fucking claws to fill.
I get that, and that's what I'm saying. Like, can you imagine if Snyder was somehow or another able to do something like that? I mean, his casting on picking the next character.
Oh, yeah.
He's great at casting. He's totally.
Well, he almost did X-Men 3. It's actually kind of crazy if you look at the project.
What the fuck? Yeah, you're right.
If you look at the projects that he's turned down, I think it says a lot more about him than people realize, right?
We got McG doing fucking X-Men 3. Jesus.
Yeah.
Because what was it that he turned down that he was talking about? I think at SnyderCon, he turned something down. It wasn't SWAT. I think it was something else.
No, it was SWAT.
But there was
Ayer wrote SWAT.
Right, but there was another movie that I think he didn't specify that he turned down. He got the offer, and this was like before Dawn of the Dead, maybe even after, or maybe it was right after that.
Oh yeah, I think he
turned something down, and he didn't say what it was, but he said the producer, whoever it was that was talking to him about it, was like, "Dude, you don't do this. Like these offers don't just come along." And he's like, "Yeah, well, I'm not going to, that would be awesome, SWAT. But you're not going to let me."
I remember that. He was talking about SWAT. He was like, dude, yeah, because he was like...
There's another one out there that he didn't name in addition to SWAT, but maybe it wasn't the one he was talking... I think maybe he was talking about SWAT this time. But he basically said, like, look, yes, I want to make that, but no, it's not... You're not going to let me make the version that I want, and so I'm just not going to do it. And then it's what's amazing that then he had the balls to turn that... Because most other directors of his caliber... at the time, or like not his caliber, but of his like position at the time, that would be their big break, right? He's turned down like 5 big breaks because he didn't trust the integrity of the production, right?
But that's what I'm saying.
Like turned down X-Men 3 also, and look at what happened with all those, right? They all ended up being like studio like bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, right, but I mean, there's
those projects.
I truly believe that he's not done with comic book films in general. I'm not talking about a brand. I'm just saying in general, okay?
No, well, he's got some super obscure stuff that he's had in his stable since back like before 300 too, or right after 300, I think.
God, I'm still confused for that.
There's some
that's what I'm saying.
Obscure sci-fi comics that he's like got the rights to.
So whether it's a Star Wars film, whether it's a a Marvel film, I think
he will never hire him.
I know, but I'm just saying. I think that if he was going to do another film like that, big budget type, it would be a Star Wars or a Marvel film before it'd be another DC film.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I'm calling that right now. I think that why wouldn't it be better for him to do some kind of X-Men film? Because it's a very inclusive. I mean, he's a big feminist, right?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, hypothetically,
not according to like some of the fucking media out there.
Yeah, right. Hypothetically, you might have a point, but I would be willing to bet that he would never do a big budget studio film like that again. If he does, it's going to be what someone in the comments said, The Crow.
Oh,
which Jason Momoa is involved. Has been in development hell. What a great project for Snyder to come scoop.
That'd be perfect for him. I think he would knock it out.
Yeah, or like. Or like I keep on thinking of projects that are like in the works already, like Masters of the Universe. I don't think that's a comic
or
book.
even like the what's it called, like Invisible Man and all that shit. That kind of universe.
Yeah, exactly. So I can see him doing something like that where it's like smaller, or like any like a Dark Horse comic, or
That's why I said The Mask.
Yeah, or if it is like a DC, it'll be like a Vertigo.
I've been campaigning for a Mask reboot for a long time because
I don't know, man. Jim Carrey was perfect.
Fuck you! You have not read the Mask comic book yet.
Yeah, but Dave, can you see Snyder coming into a comic
completely different from the movie, dude?
And like what a repeat.
R-rated, it's graphic, it's so good.
Can you see
after Deadpool came out? I was like campaigning. I'm like, they need to reboot the Mask because the Mask comic book is very much similar to Deadpool in a sense. It's R-rated. He cusses. He kills. It's so good. And I'm like, God damn it! Can we reboot that? And
as long as we get another 1990s fucking Cameron Diaz, I'm cool with it.
Oh yeah, she was. God damn, that was introducing. That was when she was in the hot.
She was thick. Oh,
she was, and then she got all skinny, and I'm like, what? When you look at her, no, we just totally went on a tangent here, but
I know. Sorry.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, I'm glad you agree. Because I've been saying that for a while. I'm like, Cameron Diaz in The Mask was a lot. Ooh, she had that fucking hourglass.
That fucking bank scene.
And then all of a sudden, she just like lost like 60 pounds. And I'm like, what happened? You got really skinny. Like, you're still beautiful, but man, in The Mask, you were. Whew. Yeah, sorry, Steven. Uh-oh, we lost your audio again.
I don't know what's up with it.
Barely. I can barely hear him.
It's turned down.
Yeah. No, I can hear it.
I can hear you, but it's very low.
So here's me being a little bit more.
Jose
guess,
said it was his first boner.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, fuck, dude.
So hot.
I'm just gonna call it though because Snyder's gonna stay away from studios and all that shit.
Well, I mean, he's got such free range with Netflix. It's so great.
I get that, but they're probably not paying him like a studio film. Okay.
Oh, of course not.
So I'm going to call it right now. He probably will get involved with something more or less Marvel type of obscure. Yeah. Just because like, fuck it. Who cares? Dude? This is like 5 years from now.
Yeah. True.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's probably going to get something obscure to where people are going to be like, who knows? It's going to be like 300. Like nobody, I didn't know shit about 300. Okay. I didn't know shit about Watchmen. And all of a sudden, both those films made me fall in love with those characters. And I was like, oh shit, it's going to be the same thing, but just maybe Star Wars or Marvel. I don't fucking know.
God, that kind of Star Wars film would be so fucking good. Well, anything that guy touches, it seems like it's just, I don't know. It's up my alley because, I mean, I'm glad that he's tapping back into the zombie genre because when I saw Dawn of the Dead, and this is before I was like, who knew who Zack Snyder was? That's his first full feature length movie. And just like when I watched that movie, I'm like, man, they had the zombies run. How scary is that? Because zombies before was just
so one of the things so it was 28 days later
I know
where we first saw it.
Yeah but the fact that he capitalized on that and it just he made this like I mean it was almost Michael Bay-esque, but just a little bit more. I don't know. There's more depth in that. I don't know. It's. I know some people have compared.
There, can you hear me now?
I could hear. I could hear you.
It's a software thing on my mic. I don't know what's going on.
Sure it is.
Can you hear me? No, it's plugged in.
It's your beard. Whatever you're lubing in.
It's something on my computer is turning off my mic driver or something.
It's your fault this time.
No, that's fine. I was gonna sit that Cameron Diaz conversation out anyway.
Jeez.
He's a little younger than us. I forget about that.
Oh no, I saw her in that movie very much.
I mean,
I'm just not participating in the conversation. Is all I'm saying.
I'm just saying they need to reboot The Mask. Hard R-rated. You know.
No, but can you imagine? So you saw what happened when Snyder took Superman and made the more comic accurate dark version. So people, because of your conversation with Garza here, he doesn't know what the comic was like. So imagine Zack Snyder coming in to do The Mask, and first of all, before people even the announcement's going to be made, and people who don't know what's going on are going to be like, "Oh, he's probably going to make it dark and gritty," and then it's going to be super dark and gritty, and people are going to be like, "This is not. He ruined The Mask.
Read the books.
The Mask." And then Snyder's going to be like, "No, it's more like the comic," and people are going to be like, "No, you ruined it."
Oh my God! I mean, I love the Jim Carrey version. Don't get me wrong. When I was a kid, I loved it. But as soon as I went to Universal City Walk, and this was I remember one time my mom came home and she bought me the first issue of The Mask Strikes Back. It was new. She was at the grocery store and she knew I loved The Mask, and she got me The Mask Strikes Back. It was like a new series in the Mask franchise. And I was reading and I'm like, this is not like The Mask that I know. What the fuck?
Where's Cameron at?
They call him Big Head. What the fuck? And then we went to Universal Studios, and then after that, we went to the Universal City Walk, and there was this big store that had a bunch of comic books and graphic novels and shit. And I saw the original Mask graphic novel, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, it's The Mask. Just buy me it." But I already looked in it. It's graphic as fuck. I mean, literally, the cover has him wearing this fucking spiked leather jacket. And he's holding a pie with a bomb in it. It's so fucking cool. And then you open it up and it's it's Stanley Ipkiss, it's The Mask, it's everything, but he's killing people. He's flat out the scene in The Mask were with the two auto repair guys. In The Mask, it was all playful, oh my God, haha, he's got a fucking muffler up his ass, call a proctologist, blah, blah, blah. No, in the book that happens, but there's literally one of the mechanics has a muffler stuffed down his throat, and he's just sitting there on a car just dead with a muffler down his throat. I mean, it's so fucking dark. And I'm like, can we get that, please?
I mean,
after Deadpool,
not for a theatrical release, but
I don't know. But it's very much like Deadpool because he'll look at in the book, he'll literally talk to you. He'll break the third wall. It's similar to Deadpool. So I'm like, please do it. All right, guys, you about done?
No. I'm saying fourth. You said third wall. I was saying it's the fourth wall.
Oh, fourth wall. Sorry. Jeez. The vodka is really kicking in now, guys.
That's all right. Yeah. My whiskey's pretty.
Yeah. All right, guys. I think it's time. We're already 2 hours in, boys. Man.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for a bit. And I know you guys are 2 hours in the future, so it sucks for you. I'm just kidding.
Happy 4th of July.
Yeah, I know.
Happy 4th fucking July.
I'm 4 minutes in the 4th of July, too. There you go.
And
hashtag America.
Is that an hour early? So I might have to check that out before I go to bed.
Cheers. And Steven, I know you didn't like my little title for my vodka. I just thought it worked.
It was cute.
Cheers. 4th of July.
Yeah. All right, guys. Take it easy. Happy 4th of July. All you Americans.
I had a great toast at a dueling piano show I was at tonight.
Nice.
It's a French toast. All right.
French toast. Nice.
Yep. Bread, eggs, and cinnamon. The French toast.
All right, guys. Cheers. Peace. Thanks for clicking in, guys.
Enjoy.
All right. Have a good one, guys.